Ta ka kalu sao kale me amau ku kau kalewo hao le amayano lao ku sabo tore ke ama uo lao ku leme o sene ana yeme ma yeme ma yeme Miami, oh, lao to me, kau me, oh, oh, kau kule me, oh, la ya Miami, oh, la ya sau kau la ya Miami, la ya me. Nau ho ye me ku le me amai yao 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 Pau ko re me o re ke amai yao Mau kau tau re ke amau o Nau ho ye me o yama yama ye me o Ma Tau a sau hoia nawa e mo Tau a sau hoia na ia nei sau kore kau kore mai Na ia nei a mau e nau o Nau sorang mai o no nei 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 Tau koro tora Tau kora ye me so na mau korea sare ke so mo o nara kau so ne ke sai o ke sai o yor korea mama orko kau sau Kau saur kaya watea nawa kur ka mau ko Tare asharakota rakite matu siameridia ma kia tu mamarki numero kotoran yeme wasa yane ataya shere Barakuru sotna maya kia sa nanania mara kia suurukur mawaya nene asayai kumama mayetesh Yataya ku urkur amyeme wisi amara kia masure kia machia sar yamaya mu ye atamya ware ki yesu namashu Hello, my beautiful soul family at Share the Light. I wanted to share a little bit about the messages that came through during that little soul code transmission and just speak from my heart in connection with the land in this moment. Life is really, really beautiful and also very, very fast. And with this Lionsgate portal, there's a lot of power coming through, a lot of light coming through, a lot that is really shining on us. Our bodies are moving through so much, and we really, really need to rest right now and just receive all that this energy is giving us, all of this light. There's so much information carried in light that our bodies are receiving, and a lot of this we don't even really need to understand by our logical minds, and yet there's so much change that is coming and that is happening on a deep cellular level. There's so much change that's happening really, really quickly, and it can be a lot to try to comprehend or keep up with. And so this is why it's important for us to slow down and just be with the energy and receive, and as it shines upon parts of ourselves that are really ready to be let go of. There's a lot of aspects of ourselves that are dying and falling away with all of the old from previous cycles, and we're really feeling that now. I know in my personal experience, there's a huge part of myself that is dying. And this is very normal now. This is nothing new. If you've been on this path for a while, you've gone through so many different deaths, ego deaths, parts of yourself and identity that no longer resonate, that are really dying. And this comes with a lot of grief, because all that we have known and all that we have associated with and everything that we have been able to relate to, or that's just made us feel like a sense of like routine and grounded and like normal is not really in resonance anymore, and this is happening inside of us. And so it can be kind of confusing when we feel that there's a part of ourselves that are dying and we're holding on to those aspects, because that's all that we kind of have known, and it just feels really safe and familiar to be in what feels comfortable. And for a lot of us, we may not even really fully understand this next version of ourselves that's literally birthing at the same time that the old part is dying. And so there's this rapid blossoming and this kind of like incubation that's happening. There's like a sprouting that's happening for this new version of you, this new version of me. And so it's kind of like this icky, not like icky, this like kind of sticky, ooey in-between phase that can feel a little bit exhausting, as there's this huge shift. There's like a peeling back and a emerging happening at the same time, and it's only really increasing. And so right now for me, I know I've been having to make a lot of decisions and getting really honest with myself in what it is that I want, what my soul is really asking for me to do more of, and what feels really good. And with that is coming a lot of decision making and letting things go and releasing attachments and getting extremely honest with myself. And I think this time, and one of the powers of this time is being honest with yourself and asking deeper questions, harder questions about what your values are and what it is that you actually want. And sometimes this can be challenging, because when we admit that the things that we want are those things, it could come with responsibility and having to, again, cut things out of our life, or maybe stop doing things, or take a whole bunch of action in order to be able to really step into that next level of your life as you continue to grow. And so this is a beautiful time. There's a lot that's coming through for all of us, and I'm really, really grateful that we have a network and community and way, this technology of expressing and sharing these things, and the technology that lives within us, this light that lives within us, this light language, soul codes, whatever it is that you wish to call it, this intuitive way of expressing ourselves and listening to the messages of the land and the sun and the energy that's all around us. There's so much information if we're willing to open up to receive it. And so this is also a time to really tune in and come into your own energy and listen to what your messages are, what your heart is saying, what your guides are telling you, what the earth is telling you specifically. And there's so much wisdom and guidance all around. And I feel like with this energy too, there's also a lot of it's like the veil is thinning in between the spirit world and the mystical, and the the infinite possibilities that are all happening right here. We can kind of like peek into it a little bit more, and we can kind of see into the future and all the multiple potentials and possibilities of what it is that we could do. And so this is you know, a time of that fire of decision making and will, and that solar plexus, you know, belief in oneself, and claiming our power and capability in order to do the things that we feel called to do, and really standing in the truth that it is possible, that anything that we can envision and dream up for ourselves, we are worthy and capable, and totally have the ability and skills and resources to do those things. We have the guidance of our heart and really being able to hear our heart space right now, and we have an influx of light and information, and yeah, just like easier access to the wisdom that's already inside of us. It's really, really strong and increasing right now. And so yeah, I fully, even before I sat down and made this video, like I wasn't able to do it fully inside. I was kind of struggling with that, and I was just guided to just go outside and just find a spot and sit down. And now all of this is coming through, and I'm like, okay, this is why we were guided to go outside, because I need to receive this information directly while being in the light of the sun. And yeah, to receive that information that will come through being out in the sun. So yeah, maybe that could be also another thing too, and it is a way for us to be able to receive information, is actually spending time out in nature and listening to the land and everything around us, the way that the birds are singing and speaking, and the frequency of nature in itself. It's very stabilizing as we're moving through this high influx of energy on the planet as a whole. Yeah, Pachamama has been definitely going through it, and there's a lot of purification that's happening, a lot of shadows that are being exposed, and this is really, really good. But it does require a lot more grounding, a lot more slowing down, a lot more, you know, just us being able to center ourselves and really anchor in the frequencies, so that we can all together as a whole unit, us and the earth, the collective, and our families, and all of the animals and the bugs and everything, all this, you know, oneness, this whole living specimen that is earth and all that's on it. We're really moving through a powerful time and change. And so yeah, I feel like it's time to get really, really honest about the type of world that we want to live in and how we wish to feel in it. And yeah, just kind of continuing to let go of the things that we maybe necessarily thought we wanted at one point, but now it's just not it's not where our energy is guiding us. And there might be a lot of temptation and a lot of tests and things that might pull us back into our old way of living, a lot of fear that can arise, a lot of temptation to stay where it's comfortable. But I think this time is really showing us through how we are feeling what really is in resonance. And sometimes the things that are most in alignment for us might be really, really scary, because it requires a part of ourselves to again surrender and let an old part die off. And that's really uncomfortable sometimes, but it's really just the human body that needs our comfort and our higher mind and our heart to guide and support this physical body and the emotions that it feels as we shed. Just like a snake sheds its skin, you know, we are also shedding energetically old parts of our old suit. We're growing out of it, and we're becoming bigger and bigger. Our energy is growing. We are becoming more we're illuminating more brightly, and yeah, it's just really, really beautiful. So that's kind of the message that was coming through as we were singing. And yeah, I'm really, really grateful for all of us to be on Earth together at this time. I see so much potential for all of us, and I know that it's not necessarily the easiest process to be so willing and open to surrender, to letting parts of ourselves go again and again and again. But I know, and I can tell that we are becoming more stronger in our ability to navigate it. And even if you're just in the beginning process of your journey and just being exposed to all of this, that's the most beautiful thing, is just cultivating more self-awareness and realizing that your life is just worthy of so much more than what it has been and what it is. We are so worthy and deserving of more happiness and fulfillment, and that just empowerment of loving and just doing it, whatever it is that we actually feel called to do. And as we shed layers, I mean, the old world and the ways that we have been doing is also shedding and falling away as well. And so there's that in-between period is not only within, it's also on the outside. And we can feel this as we tend to do whatever it is that we're being called to do. There might be like a period, there is going to be a period, I'm experiencing that period, where the rest of the world hasn't necessarily quite caught up with the way that we're living. But I know that the more that we can embody the way of life that we wish to anchor in for all, and really just be that, it'll be more accessible and easier received by us the more that we allow ourselves to live in it. And also this will be more possible for others too, which is beautiful. So we can amplify that vision that we all share by living it and making the choices to make it happen for us first, and naturally that will ripple out and more will receive access to that as well. So it's always an inside job, and it's a lot easier that way when we just worry about ourselves and focus on ourselves. It can be a little bit tricky when we care so much and want to help everyone else, but we truly are helping other people as we focus on ourselves, so don't ever feel bad about that. There's a lot of paradoxes and illusions here on the earth, but that's what makes it so fun and exciting. So yeah, happy Lionsgate portal. I was not planning on talking about that at all, but I guess that's what needed to come through today. And I'm really grateful for sharing space with you, and yeah, show you the sun. Thank you for all of your information. Sending many, many blessings to you from this land. All right. Bye, guys.